In a small, isolated town nestled between dense forests, there was an abandoned mansion that stood tall on a hill. Locals spoke of it in hushed tones, warning of a malevolent presence that lurked within its decaying walls. Legend had it that a wealthy family once inhabited the mansion, but tragedy struck when the youngest daughter, Emily, disappeared without a trace. Distraught and grief-stricken, the family fell into ruin, and the mansion was left to decay. Years later, a group of adventurous friends decided to spend a night in the abandoned mansion, lured by the thrill of the unknown. As they entered the creaking doors, the air inside grew thick with an eerie silence. As the night progressed, strange things began to happen. Whispers echoed through the hallways, and the temperature dropped unnaturally. Shadows danced on the walls, seemingly moving with a purpose of their own. The friends started to feel an unseen presence watching them. One by one, they began to disappear. The group frantically searched the mansion, their flashlights flickering in the darkness. The chilling echoes of Emily's laughter reverberated through the corridors, growing louder with each passing moment. As the survivors reached the mansion's grand hall, they found an old dusty piano. The keys began to play on their own, creating a haunting melody that echoed through the empty space. Suddenly, the apparition of Emily appeared before them, her eyes hollow and her presence filled with anguish. With a blood-curdling scream, the friends realized they were trapped in the mansion's grip, unable to escape the vengeful spirit of Emily. The doors slammed shut, sealing their fate within the haunted mansion. The next morning, locals found the mansion empty and abandoned once again, with no sign of the daring group that had entered the night before. The townspeople believed that the mansion claimed its victims, and those who dared to enter were condemned to join the ghostly presence within its walls. And so, the abandoned mansion stood as a chilling reminder of a tragedy long past, and the ghostly whispers within served as a warning to those who might be tempted to unlock its sinister secrets. In a small, forgotten town, there lived a man named Samuel who had become isolated from the world. He spent his days in a decaying mansion on the outskirts of the town, convinced that he was not alone. Samuel believed he had a companion, a ghostly figure named Eleanor, who whispered secrets and guidance into his ears. Eleanor, as Samuel described her, was a spectral beauty with long, flowing black hair and piercing blue eyes. He claimed she had died tragically in the mansion years ago and was bound to its halls, seeking solace and companionship through him. Samuel, however, was the only one who could see or hear Eleanor. As the days passed, Samuel's obsession with Eleanor grew. He held conversations with her, laughing at her ghostly jokes and confiding in her as if she were a living, breathing confidant. The townspeople began to view Samuel with suspicion and concern, whispering about his descent into madness. One stormy night, the townsfolk heard unsettling sounds emanating from Samuel's mansion. A chorus of ghostly whispers echoed through the wind, sending shivers down their spines. Fueled by fear and curiosity, a group of locals decided to investigate the mansion. Inside, they found Samuel in a dimly lit room, surrounded by candles and talking animatedly to the empty air. He insisted Eleanor was there with him, unseen by the intruders. The group tried to reason with Samuel, to convince him that Eleanor was merely a figment of his imagination, a product of his deluded mind. But Samuel, consumed by his conviction, grew agitated. He accused the townsfolk of trying to banish Eleanor from the only home she had left. As tensions escalated, Samuel's demeanor shifted from eccentric to menacing. The room seemed to grow colder, and the flickering candles cast eerie shadows on the walls. Suddenly, a chilling gust of wind swept through the room, extinguishing the candles. In the darkness, the ghostly whispers intensified, creating an otherworldly symphony. The townsfolk felt a presence, an inexplicable force that seemed to surround them. Panicking, they fled the mansion, leaving Samuel behind in the pitch-black room with his imaginary ghost. The next morning, the mansion stood silent, its windows shattered, and the wind carrying echoes of Samuel's laughter mingled with Eleanor's ghostly whispers. The townsfolk, shaken by the encounter, avoided the mansion as if it were cursed. They would forever wonder whether Samuel's delusion had conjured something truly supernatural, or if it was simply the product of a tormented mind lost in the depths of loneliness and despair.